All right, and we are live. Welcome, everyone, to our first office hours of 2026. I'm your host, Brett, and we are so happy that you all could join us. Today, we are honored to have with us, representing the Waze leadership team, Waze GM Gai Berkovich, Director of Engineering and Product, Adi Rome, and of course, the Waze Communities Group Lead, Hila Roth. So welcome to you all, and it's so great to have all of you with us once again to help us kick off 2026. I'm going to be back at the end to share some updates and Q&A that you all submitted in advance. But first, I'm very happy to pass the mic over to Guy to share some of his thoughts on where Waze is headed this year. So Guy, take it away.
Yeah, and also enjoy a little bit from what we did last year. And thanks, Brett. It's so great to be back, and I'm super excited to share what what we are going to do and what we are going to start in 2026. But actually, we are starting looking back at 2025. We had a really fantastic year for Waze. We rolled out a lot of new features for the app, like the major updates to the Waze map, search, global copilot marketplace, insight, closures in in-car, mobile police cameras, and of course, our first steps into the advanced AI integrations in conversational reporting with Bardino, and this is really just the beginning. We invested a lot in WME, and I hope all of you can feel it. We have more categories for suggest and edit, school zone, and the scheduler, and of course, the scripters SDK, which we were waiting for such a long time. This is really to make sure your innovation is fully supported, and so we can all together make much bigger impact. We also took a lot of steps to increase editor and partner recruitment and engagement with courses, marketing, and efforts to make the WME more intuitive to help scale the community. And speaking of growth, from 2023 to 2025, this is a great slide, we just can look at it. We saw an unprecedented period of growth across all areas of Waze. Monthly active users grew by over 20%, reaching over, well, the official number is over 180, and I can assure you that we have already passed the 200 million last year. With that, we saw a 50% increase in the monthly amount of drives, and this showed the engagement of our users. We have grew our users, but mostly we see users who are using us more than ever before. We also invested a lot in improving the reporting menu, which resulted in 46% jump in reporters who made 37% more reports than before. And of course, we have refocused our efforts on you, the community. It's been amazing to see growth in map editors, almost double the amount in the past few years. We also put a lot of effort into growing our partnerships, and we are thankful to all of you out there volunteering to help build relationship with local partners. This is where the magic really happens. You, with your local authorities and city owners, are working together to help and impact the local citizens you represent. It's have been a tremendous impact of quality of the data we contribute to everyone. Now, if you remember, 2023 was the year that we actually joined Google, integrated into Geo. And I think that now we can surely say that our growth comes also in this context of this move into Geo. There were a lot of complementary efforts that helped us scale, building something that is more than the sum of its parts. And I know many of you, many of us, many of the team were very afraid of this change. But since then, and I think that together we navigate it because we listened, we heard all the things that we are that can be a challenge, and we tackle them together. And we are proving to ourselves to be a huge asset to Geo portfolio. This is positioning Waze as the critical data source internally and as a trusted companion powered by community for our tens of millions of users. And of course, central to all of those efforts are the superpower of Waze, you, our amazing community. And I hope that you feel like that and you feel that you are part of a very unique community. I feel this sense of belonging, and it creates a kind of a commitment also to help and impact in this world. Your input and contributions are making impacts across the world with Geo, from closures and traffic events to very important edits you're making to align the maps with koi fish and incredibly valuable signals you are sending with the button to all the fresh satellite imagery. And this is just to name a few of them. Geo sees you and appreciates everything we do here. And for that, I can only thank you from the bottom of my heart. And I hope that it also helped to feel this impact that we are doing. Sometimes I'm hearing from different editors around the globe that they want to change something in Waze, I mean new editors, because it's impact the rest of Geo. I've always been the biggest advocate. Well, everybody are the advocates, but I feel the biggest advocate for the Waze community. And it's my privilege as Waze GM to make sure you are at the center of everything we do. Now, before I get too sentimental, let's pass the microphone over to Adi to share our vision and mission for 2026.
Thank you, Guy. And also for not getting too emotional. It's really great to be here. In further service to the millions of drivers who depend on us daily, we're updating our vision for 2026 to create a world where every driver feels like a local and every drive is stress-free. Now, stress-free doesn't mean the absence of traffic, even though I wish we had a magic wand and we could just, make the traffic much better. But it's also the absence of surprise and proactively managing uncertainty. Waze will be your companion, making sure you feel confident on the road. To do that, we're doubling down on our principles, which have already gotten us so far. Growing drivers and building for the community, considering the companion in everything we do, encourage bold ideas while keeping driver trust front of mind. Choose local relevance over global consistency to provide unique value, even when it requires unique solutions to local challenges. One of the things I love about Waze is that it doesn't matter where you go. In Brazil, they think Waze is a Brazilian app, Lady Waze, remember?
It is, by the way.
In the Philippines, the same. And this is thanks to you, our amazing community, who put so much of yourselves in the map to really make it reflection of your local reality. Let's go into the steps we're taking towards our vision. This all comes together through focus on the right elements of the product. First, through a living map where the community shares their local reality, allowing you to map more locally relevant elements and dynamic hazards. Our second element is the hyperlocal wisdom. We're implementing hyperlocal routing that understands local rules and unique safety features. And in addition to guidance, we'll move from basic turn instruction to high definition, reality-based maneuvering. We truly want to build for specific local needs, including better two-wheeler support. We're counting on your local insider wisdom as our experts on the ground. The third element is the connected net. We imagine this as a moving from the isolation of the car to the reassurance of a protective network. This includes seeing and connecting to your loved ones on the map in real time to reduce stress. The connected net goes beyond your sense of safety. We also see it as source for fun, growth, user education, and group drives to grow Waze into an interconnected human network. This includes making it easier to let friends know about new features and creating awareness about Waze for those who are not familiar yet with all we have to offer. We want people to understand that the data they see in Waze is collected by real people, powered by the community. We believe that this understanding makes Waze more personal and more human. The fourth element is continuing to build and maintain a thriving community. This includes investing in robust resources at the top of the funnel and downstream to keep our community growing, engaged, and active. Making the WME more intuitive and open to new editors, and removing barriers to entry while improving the tools for experienced editors so that you can better map the real life. Investing in our editors' retention, ensuring that we can provide educational resources for how to use the tools we build, and recognizing and celebrating community impact to make contributing even more rewarding. Making sure your input and expertise touches every part of Waze. And all of these is built on a foundation of the more emotive and connected companion. We want to infuse the whole experience with emotional intelligence. So Waze feels less and less like an app and more like a real trusted friend looking out for you. A few examples. We want your conversational interactions to feel like a natural two-way conversation, to feel more like a dialogue with a companion than a series of rigid voice commands. Safety alerts are also a great example because we want them to feel more protective rather than alarming. We want the map to visually emphasize the people helping you, such as editors or reporters, reinforcing the feeling that you are not driving alone. We're also continuing to build intelligent companion features, leveraging the many opportunities available for us. While we are being very cautious in developing these features due to the sometimes unpredictable nature of how it will react, we already see the potential for how it can help us scale and deliver more intelligent products and creative solutions. I want to thank you all for the amazing partnership and feedback. Your input has allowed us to learn what is required to deliver a high-quality AI experience in production, and it's not trivial. We'll continue to look at community needs we can solve, such as leveraging AI to come up with creative ideas on how to help get more information on URs from the drivers. In this instance, we can leverage conversational reporting to have AI create comprehensive map update requests and deliver them to you in the WME with specifics about the issues that the driver experienced. Or we can also deploy an AI-powered chatbot in the help center to get users to enter more details more quickly. There is an exciting frontier ahead of us with AI implementation, and we're looking forward to finding the right ways to implement it hand in hand with you. AI powered by humans. Now, I'm happy to pass it over to Hila to share with you how we'll continue to center the community in 2026.
Thank you. Hi, everyone. And thank you, Adi and Guy. I'm very excited for the plans that you've just shared. As you heard from Guy and also from Adi, the community is really the center, the heart of everything that we do. And when we say community, and I believe most of you know already, we refer to one of our main community domains, right? We have the beta, the editors, localizers, crisis responders, and partners. We also have a lot of new community domains that we're kicking off. Some of you familiar with some of them. We will share some of it also today. And in the end of the day, we're here really to say that we're all proud that there is this unique superpower that you share. And we have at Waze this human-first company built by locals. And we're focused together on solving real-world problems together. So basically, my next few slides, I will focus my strategy slides about the map editors community, but I did want to say that we are sharing our other community domain strategies in many other places, if it's different office hours. For example, last week we had a localization online meetup. So please open your eyes for invites for also other community domains to share our focus areas for this year. So as I said, we are looking in these slides at the map editor strategy. As most of you know, in the past 2 years, we really showed that we can bring in new editors. This year, in 2026, we want to focus on retention. We need to ensure that also new and next generation also falls in love with editing the map. So this year, you'll be seeing also a big push to include new age demographics. We'll also be collaborating with you, our global communities, on new initiatives to ensure that the guidelines that we publish and the ranking up process is clear, fair, and achievable. It's something we hear a lot for many years. And finally, we decided that it will be a focus also for this year. Last but not least, for now, we get a lot of feedback from communities that sometimes we don't provide enough map editing guidance. And we know that it can cause friction also in the community and between you guys. We don't want to get into this situation. So this is also something we want to address this year to make sure that there are clear best practices for how to use the tools that we built. And if you attend community meetups this year, so expect to see workshops and a lot of office hours and things around these topics, because we deeply value your input and we want to build a better experience and improve these processes. Another key part of our 2026 strategy is increasing our engagement on social media. I believe you heard a bit about it already, but I did want to share that this year our community channels are going to be a major priority, receiving lots of attention and visibility. And our goal here is to provide you with high quality content that you can easily just share on your own channels. Beyond just providing content, we want to invest in your growth, your local growth in your own channels. So our social media team will also be part of this effort, and we will be offering exclusive training and guidance specifically for our social media community leaders. We'll be sharing best practices on how to optimize your posts, increase your reach, and drive deeper engagement within your network. But more than that, we want to show you, our community members, as the face of Waze. Many of you heard me already saying that in 2026 and on, our future marketing campaigns will feature community members from all over the world sharing why they are passionate about Waze, why they are passionate about volunteering, why they do what they do so good. And just in some cases, we also share personal stories. So stay tuned also for that. We're also working on a new community for influencers who would like actually to spread the word about Waze and our communities. So unlike the social media community that I just talked about, which focus on our community-led channels, like you guys, some of you have been doing it for a decade or so already, and you have your own channels. This is a different community that we're speaking about, and we're actually kicking it off like these weeks. You will hear about it, also how you can register. And this community will serve as a space for social media leaders. So it's leaders who operate personal influencer accounts or local authority accounts, not related to Waze. We want them to spread the word about Waze in their accounts. And with that, I would like to pass it to Brett to actually give you details on how you can register to the influencer community, or if you know someone or can bring someone to us. and also about 2 more initiatives that we're kicking off these days that we will be really happy to see you as part of it. Thank you so much for joining us today, and I'll see you in a few minutes in the Q&A answering some questions. Thanks, Brett.
Thanks so much, Hila. So I am very happy to share some of the details for these upcoming initiatives with you all. And don't worry, this is why we're on YouTube. You can always go back to scan the QR code later if you miss it. So first and foremost, for the influencers community, if you know someone who has a decent number of followers and would like to join and become an official Waze influencer, please ask them to fill out the form at the QR code. I think we're going to share it on chat now too as well. And we would love to hear from them and see how they can help promote Waze on their influencer channels. Next up, so as you heard a few times already, we're going to be focusing a lot of effort this year on our 2-wheel drivers in addition to those of us on 4 wheels. So if you are commuting with a motorcycle, make sure to check out this dedicated space that we've created to collect feedback and hear from your experiences. So if you haven't joined yet, you can scan this QR code and fill out the form, and we'll make sure to add you to the conversation about motorcycles. And finally, and this is our big launch that I'm very excited to share with you, we're launching an exciting new feature that was created by you. So Waze Know and Go is a new guide designed to share your expert knowledge with drivers who aren't familiar with the rules of the road in your country. So it's targeted to be served to drivers who enter the country, and then when they open the app there for the first time, they're going to be getting this pop-up that will give them this complete guide to everything they need to know. Now, it's also going to live in the menu banner the whole time that they're there for quick access. So we're piloting this first one with the Italian community, who have really been amazing partners in sharing all of their knowledge. And it's designed to really keep unfamiliar drivers safe on the road. So I'd like to invite you all now to check out the prototype at the QR code and see what sharing our hyper-local knowledge can produce. So if it's successful, we're going to be looking to launching it in more countries. So stay tuned. And now it's time that you've all been waiting for, Q&A. So our very eager community members submitted over 50 questions, and many of them were, let's say, very long paragraphs of texts, and more than a few were asking the same thing. So as I usually do, I've taken some license with the questions to shorten them down and to get to their essence, and then combined a few of them to help us get through as many questions as possible for the time we have left. So if we don't get to your question, don't worry. We're actually going to publish the full Q&A sheet later on the forum this week. So with that, let's dive in to our first question. Now, this one will get to Adi and Hila, since Guy already wrapped up 2025 for us. So let's start with Adi. How would you summarize 2025, and what were some of the highlights for you this year?
It's a great question, Brad, that I would love to answer, because I'm so very proud in everything we built in 2025. Some of the things we've landed, and some are heavy lifting that will enable us to create much richer user experiences in the coming year. Some examples are rebuilding the insights, where we change the entire infrastructure, and it will enable us to surface even more data into our drivers, but to do it in the right time, place, and context without putting too much information on the driver and distracting him. The map infrastructure that will enable us to create special map moments, and AI infrastructure, learning the power and the challenges of AI, of building and developing a product to users that is non-deterministic. And also the great process that we recently completed of building our strategy moving forward is an evolution of everything that we've done so far.
Amazing. Thanks, Adi. Let's hear from Hila now, too.
Yeah, wow. So +1 for everything that Adi said, especially about the part I would summarize also 2025 with a lot of pride, and I feel that it was really an incredible year. And I will take this opportunity to make sure that you all watch the end of the year office hour that we had a month ago to summarize the community impact and all the achievements and milestones that we've done together. So if you haven't watched it yet, you should, because it actually has like 30 or 40 minutes of what we did, all community domains. So obviously I won't go into it. Only the summary took 40 minutes. And we do want to get to other questions, but for sure it was an incredible, amazing year, and really thankful and so proud to have such a strong community, because we couldn't have done it without you. Some highlights of the year, if I need to choose one, I would go with the Global Champs meetup that we had. So for those of you who don't know, we met our Global Champs in Athens in November 2025 after 3 years that we haven't seen them. So for me, it was a very personal, emotional, many words around emotional moment. It was a huge highlight. I've been waiting for this moment for a long time. And when I prepared for this meetup, I actually collected like who's gonna be there. And what I found out was really interesting, because it was in the end, like we had about almost 90 global champs from more than 40 countries. And almost all of them, almost all the 90 people in the room are with us for more than a decade. And let this number just sink in for a second. It means a relationship that we built that lasts for so long. And it shows a lot, right? It's beyond word to explain what we're really trying to say. It's the fact that we go hand in hand with the community for so long, with the same leadership. Some of them, it was the first global champ maybe for them, but they are with us for so long. So I think it's very unique and special what we have in Waze with our communities. And this is a big highlight that I stopped for a second and actually understood who is in the crowd. And it made me really proud to lead this group, and happy. So thank you if you were there. And thanks for an amazing year for everyone.
Thanks so much, Hila. So for our next question, let's turn the table over to Guy, since Adi and Hila already shared about what they were excited for 2026. Let's hear from you, Guy. What's the most important thing that you want to achieve this year?
Yeah, this is a great question, because there is always not one thing you really want to achieve. There are so many things you want to achieve. But I imagine myself sitting together with Adi, Hila, and the community, end of 2026, let's say beginning of 2027. And what do we want to say about 2026? So there are a few things. First of all, the one important thing I want to hear from drivers and citizens around the globe, that Waze really help them to drive safer and have stress-free drives, and that they really rely on it for the hyper-local commutes. Inside the company, and the way we should get to it, as Adi said about 2026 and also about 2025 regarding the AI, I believe that in 2025, we can say that the organization is AI ready. In 2026, we should be AI native, meaning not doing AI for the sake of AI, like everyone speak about AI like we did back then on object-oriented or things like that, but really bring the impact that we can all use to help users around the globe. So I would say that if we see growth in Waze, in reach, mostly in reach, engagement, see more communities, see more people who cares about their society and their community and local communities, I believe that Waze can really be part of this great impact.
Amazing. Our next question is also for Guy, and this one's very topical because it just relaunched around the world. So, are there plans to include advertising in Waze again, and will it work as it did some years ago? This is from Picasa in Spain.
I always don't understand why everybody are worried because of the revenue of Waze. This is my worry. But yes, Waze is a P&L, and we are a business. In order to be able to have more impact in the world, we also need to justify our existence by bringing more business to Google and Waze. I'm very glad to say that I think we took a very brave and right decision to sunset what we had in Waze, our own ads of Waze by our own salespeople, and integrate it with one of the best system in the world, Google. The best. So we already launched ads in the US. So if you're driving in the US, I guess you already see pins. We are currently testing in several other markets around the world. I think in Brazil, and in a few other countries. The new ads platform functions a little bit different than the old Waze pins. First of all, it's fully integrated with Google Ads platform. The pins are virtual, so you can all come down and stop asking. It will not take over the venues you have mapped in WME like in the past. So this is eliminating completely the potential for map damage like we had in the past. If you really want to read about it, because we are really proud about what we did, we integrated it to the system in less than a year. Chapeau to the engineering, and it's a huge integration, specifically in Google. When we hear about such integration, usually it takes more than 1 year. You can read about it in the forum. We have posted to several of the countries that we are currently in beta testing, or in the US forum, we are now in production for several months, and we are seeing it already performing better than what we had before we sunset our previous ads. So thank you for this question.
Thank you, Guy. And just to follow up on that for everybody, the countries that it's relaunched to now in beta are Brazil, Mexico, Colombia, Malaysia, Australia, Israel, and Canada. So if you're from one of those countries, you can check out your local forum to learn more about the ad relaunch there. So our next question is from Rob in the US, and we'll give this one to Hila. So when can we expect to see traffic lights in WME in the US? It's kind of a trick question, but take it.
Yeah, I guess I'm going to steal Adi's line, Adi, if you let me. It's a good question because we have a good answer, right, Adi? We'll be starting actually the rollout in North America in the coming weeks. Next time we'll make sure that Adi has also the light questions, right?
It is already actually in beta in the WME. It's not showing up in the Waze app yet, though. So if you are a beta WME pirate, you can actually see the traffic lights right now in the US and a few other countries.
Correct.
Cool. Our next question from Jeffrey Songil in Brazil. We'll give this one to Adi. So the alerts implemented by Waze are fundamental for safer traffic, but we have noticed some instability in their execution. A few weeks ago, speed bumps were being alerted at all times and visible on the map. It seems the familiarity capping has been reinstated, the same with school zones. What standard will be defined?
So remember what I said about the insights and the fact that we rebuild the whole thing? So I want to start by acknowledging that, true, there has been some uncertainty expressed by many of you over the changes to this new surfacing logic on permanent hazards, as we've been experimenting with the alerts to find the right moments that they should be served. And we recently implemented what we call time-based alerting triggering, which considers the time it will take to a driver to get to a hazard rather than just surfacing the alert X meters before the hazards, regardless of the traffic conditions, which sometimes can be a long, long time, or you already passed it if you are like a really quick driver. And hopefully this will improve the experience because it will make sure that drivers will be alerted in a better timing for them.
Thank you, Adi. Next up, we have a question for Guy from TBRKS from the UK. So is there any update on when Project Biggs is expected to release?
I wish this question would have been asked a little bit later, but it's going to happen.
Sooner than later.
No, it's going to happen soon. Not even Gil soon. My soon. We're going to do it big, like any other big fish. So stay tuned, because it's going to happen very, very soon.
Amazing to hear. Thanks, Guy.
Recorded, right?
So our next question will be for Adi, and this was one that got asked from a few different users, from Legiar from South Africa and Darkest Ways from Australia. So it would be more useful and safer to be able to attach voice notes to URs in the app instead of asking the driver to type. 95% of reporters don't respond to queries for additional info, and many have forgotten what or where the issue was when they asked a week ago or two later about it.
Yeah,
So
so
it's
thank
like-
you.
Yeah.
Thank you for raising this, and this is a great idea. And while we understand the need, the way we are approaching the solution is just a little bit different, but not that different, because as I mentioned before, we're exploring the ability to report a map issue using a conversational experience, which collects all the necessary information at the moment. We're also investing in automated responses for user reports that are lack of descriptions. This allowed us to proactively provide you with relevant data before the URs reaches you. So thank you all. Thanks to all the coordinators for providing the message templates for your countries that allowed us to actually create and build these automated responses.
Thanks, Adi. All right, and now we'll have a question for Guy. This one is from, what a great username, Spam Ketchup from Singapore. All right, we have different safe zones that the government created to increase safety for senior pedestrians, called silver zones, that are similar to a school zone. Do we have the option to customize permanent hazards for each country? Well, that's a good one.
Yeah, and also reporting a hazard coming from a spam. It's good. So, yeah, as we said, what I am seeing, what we want to see in 2026, and also what Adi spoke about, what we're going to focus in on during 2026, it's all about hyperlocal. And to become truly hyperlocal and build the user experience where every driver feels like a local, we must allow you to present the reality you think is most relevant for drivers in your community. And if, I don't know, in Mexico, we want to make sure that the permanent hazard is a burning car, this is something we need to support each and every type. So in 2026, we are going to add more permanent hazard to the map as a step in that direction. We may not get to the point where all permanent hazards are represented, so we can't commit yet on a specific hazard that we will add, but the direction we are heading to is one where adding such a permanent hazard should become trivial. And you will have the control over what hazard should be mapped. So the direction in Adi and the engineering are working on that together with product to make sure that we can support all kinds of permanent hazard more generically, and with AI understand better the intent. Now, we saw already that in some cases, because when we are allowing to report many hazards, they all come together in the same place. So we will also need this kind of a system that will not guarantee showing all the hazards, but according to a kind of priority. So the most important ones are surfaced. And this is, again, according to the driver's needs that will come from the community. So we have quite a challenge, because AI is not always deterministic, although it understands the intent. And this is the challenge that we are going to work together.
Thanks, Guy. So our next question will be for Hila. This was another one that several different editors requested. So from Voya Dexon from Germany and another from Darkest Ways from Australia. Are there any updates regarding the scheduler and the inclusion of time-based speed limits?
Okay, so this is something we're actually considering for later in 2026. We do hope to have updates. It won't be Guy soon or Gil soon, but I will hope to share something later this year.
Awesome. Thanks so much, Hila. Next up, a question for Adi. This one is from a generic world user in the United Kingdom. So are CarPlay HUD turn-by-turn directions really on the way, as was stated in the forum?
True, and it's intentional. We have a CarPlay metadata feature on the 2026 roadmap, and we are aiming for it to be prioritized for H2 in 2026. But for now, it's a little bit too early to make a commitment, so no soon from me at this point.
Well, we like to hear that it's at least on the roadmap, so thank you.
Yes, it is. Yes.
Amazing. Next up, one for Guy from Pox Online in Germany. Oh, this is a really good one. Are you planning to improve routing for EV vehicles with routes based on information about live road conditions?
It's a great question. I wonder what happened with the regular petrol cars, because there are so many petrol stations, and I hope that in the future there will also be many EV stations. But look, EV routing is something quite complex because it has many things to do with the weather condition, the individual that is driving the car, the battery itself, different cars. And at the moment, it's unfortunately something that we cannot yet be focusing on. However, again, being part of Geo and Google, we are becoming more and more integrated with in-car system. Geo is becoming more and more integrated with in-car system. So we believe that this information and data we will get it from the embedded system and from the car itself, and we will be able to support it in the future.
Awesome. Thanks, Guy. So next up, we have another one from Adi, this time from Bello JT in South Africa. I'm trying not to butcher these usernames. So, okay. What work has been done in applying AI to assist in the editing process? For example, would it be possible to mark the start and end points of a road, and then AI could map the road based on satellite imagery?
That's a great idea. So a few things that we've been doing. First of all, we're currently developing an AI helper for the WME that should be able to help less experienced editors with information about map editing and how to complete specific tasks. We're also, as I've previously mentioned, testing a way to more easily report map issues, among other things, while driving using a natural language with conversational AI. There is more that we can do for sure, and we're looking for areas where AI can help us solve previously unsolved problems, like reporting map issues while driving, for example, or areas where it can make something more efficient. So if you have such ideas, please send them our way.
Thanks, Adi. And I also just want to give a nice shout out to the US community. This weekend in the Champs chat on the Discord, they shared the first MapMate win, where a UR came through with extra data from MapMate that was super easy to solve. So looks like this is actually happening.
Exciting. Yeah.
Great news.
Definitely. So our next question, this one will be for Hila, and it's an anonymous question. So how can the community address the lack of clear documented guidelines? I see why this is an anonymous question, by the way, because I don't want to say which community they're from. This leads to inconsistent edits, differing personal styles, and gatekeeping by higher level editors. Ooh, a juicy one.
Yeah, well, as also I said earlier in my slides, I hope whoever asked this question is here. So it is part of a strategy actually in 2026. We are developing a clear source of truth, let's put it this way, for certain editing guidelines. As I said before, we really want to have this unclear situation to be clear, fair, to have these guidelines so it won't be a friction in the community. So this initiative is really aims to create this better alignment. That said, this is not intended to replace local nuances, Okay, as Guy also mentioned before, we really trust your input. You are our eyes on the road, wherever you are the local experts. So if you have your own rules, it's okay, your own standards. It's there mainly to have like more of a global guidelines for less frictions, let's put it this way. So please do feel free to reach out to your local leadership, if it's within the community or our community managers as part of the Waze team, for any clarifications, if it's relevant for your community and something is missing, because we're really writing it these days, and it will be really helpful to have also your input, and we will all be happy to assist.
Definitely. And if you go to a meetup this year, odds are you're going to see a workshop that has something to do with this or about standardizing for promotions. We're really looking this year to make things much more clear and much more global for that basic standard. So next up, a question for Adi from Peter Muir in Canada. Are there plans to surface school zone polygons as drawn in the WME in the app? Oh, that's a really cool one.
Yeah, so we recently launched the Insight Standard, where we introduced the school zones indication as a segment and not just as a point alert. And next, we'll be rolling out the new map, the map infrastructure that I mentioned previously. And it will open up additional opportunities to highlight zones like this more dynamically. While we can't commit now for surfacing the entire polygon, we do want to improve and expand the style of this alert to better represent the reality on the ground.
Thanks, Adi. And this is actually a great time for me to give my regular reminder to the map editor community that when you're drawing these polygons for school zones or even for polygon-based events, please make sure to draw them pretty, because they might actually get surfaced in the app, and we want to have really good looking polygons show up. So take time, be artistic, and try to really map it to life, and think about the end driver when you're drawing your polygons. So our next question is for Hila from Pagliano in Italy. When will we be able to have a continuous cleanup of old GPS tracks and a constant update of the requested satellite images? Very often, the additional satellite images are older than the default ones.
Yeah, okay. So I see it as like two sections with my answers. So regarding the GPS points, we do show the 60 days back. I hope this is what you meant. And regarding the imagery, we now have multiple layers in the WME that you can switch between. I'm not sure everyone's familiar with it. So some with the most updated imagery and some with the most clear imagery. One of the great benefits that we're getting by being part of Geo, and Guy also spoke about the benefits, and we have so much of them. But one of the biggest that is relevant for this question is that you can always request new imagery where needed. It's called the project The Button. And I do want to note that however this this project is currently not available in some countries in Europe. We're aware of it, and there is an effort to refresh actually the entire area in Europe anyway. So please stay tuned to hear about it if you are in these countries in Europe. But if not, you should be benefit from this project. It should be really helpful with the satellite images.
Awesome. Thanks, Hila. And I have another one for you, actually. This one is from Bayro Waz from the UK. So many users report route suggestions that direct drivers onto roads that they consider unsuitable, particularly narrow country lanes and width-restricted roads. At present, routing options offer limited flexibility beyond avoiding highways or tolls, with no way for users to explicitly prefer major roads or to prioritize route stability over marginal time savings. So it's more of a statement.
Yeah.
But yeah.
I mean, it is a statement, and we do recognize this statement. I mean, we hear it a lot. Unfortunately, it's something we do know it's a pain point. We do recognize also the need for greater flexibility, as you mentioned in this statement, in how road types are mapped. And as I said, it is something we discussed internally for the past year or so. around these road types, right? Like how much it also generate a lot of URs, and we know it is a huge pain point for our editors, that you can't actually do anything on the map to improve the situation. So it is something we discuss, and we're strongly considering to up-level the way that we map roads, splitting one attribute into a few. So I do hope that you will see some improvements and that you will hear about it this year. And later on, these can be used also for route generation and ranking. However, and this is important to mention because I know you guys, we don't plan to add extensive, like not all user settings will be changed. We do want to take into account some of the flexibility and the issues that you mentioned here. So we do hope to share something in the short term.
Thanks, Hila. And our next question is for Adi. This one's from Augusto NH from Brazil. If a house number has been changed on WME, a saved search on Waze keeps routing it to the old incorrect place. Is that because what a saved search actually saves is the coordinates?
So this is something we're actually going to work on in 2026, but with a much larger scope to refresh the saved addresses and recent searches results whenever changes are made on the map.
That is really awesome to hear. I know you all know this is something that comes up at almost every mega meetup in the Q&A. So I'm really happy to hear, and I'm sure the community is very happy to hear we're working on this in 2026. All right, and this is the last question we have in the queue for Guy. It is from Quito IDCV from Ecuador. Waze is focused on road safety, especially from a preventative and collaborative approach. Can you participate in the most important mobility events? I see, like getting us out there to conferences.
An important event by definition is one that Waze is part of this event. But seriously, we do participate in many mobility events. And if you know of any events that you think we should consider, let us know. And it's also because we are part of Geo now, we see more of these events. Waze for Cities today is the gateway for all of Geo. So everybody in Geo that is participating in any event is referring to the Waze for Cities for partners. And this is mostly for partners. But we are also going to be part of many other events to learn what are the ideas of different types of partners to help us build something that can help with lowering the accident and make it more safely. But we are and we will participate in many of these events.
Amazing. Thank you, Guy. So I think that closes us out. So I just want to thank Guy, Adi, Hila. Thank you for giving your time today for the community and for answering all of their questions. And thank you to everyone out there for joining us. We'll be back later this spring to share more exciting updates with you. So for now, here is to an amazing 2026, everybody. Bye. Have a great year.
Thank you.
Thanks,
Thank you.
everyone.